Hello Gemini and welcome to today's tarot reading. Today is a timeless reading, so it can be accessed at any point, at any time, for Gemini Sun, Moon and Rising signs. So do go and look at your birth chart and see whether you have any of those placements. And of course, if you do not resonate with what is here today, then look at what else is in those placements, as I think it is probably quite unlikely you have a Gemini in all three, and if you do, well, you may definitely, almost definitely resonate with what is said today. And like I said, this is timeless reading, so it doesn't matter when you access this video. However, at the time of this reading, I will be making references to astrological events when this video is published. And in that case, please do go back and look at your life since the recording of this video and see whether there has been a knock-on effect that you're seeing now in the cards before you. So that's a very long time scale, perhaps for some of you, and a short time scale, perhaps even an instant time scale for others of you. Now today I'll be doing a Celtic Cross spread, and we are using the Thoth Tarot deck, which is my favourite tarot deck. Has a lot of symbolism and esoteric meaning hidden within the cards. Well, they're not hidden, it's more what you know about them, which helps decode them. So, Gemini, we're going to just stop for a moment, be aware of our surroundings, and enter that space of awareness, intuition, and self-consciousness. That's not self-consciousness in a, oh, what do I look like kind of way. It's being really aware of who you are, where you are right now. And for whatever is going on for you at the moment, Gemini, do remember that every end is just another beginning. And we have the Empress, Gemini, as our central query. That is the Divine Feminine Manifest. The third card, well, the fourth card technically, number 3 of the Major Arcana, but the fourth card, because the Fool is the first card, but it's 0. And the Empress is all about being, how do I put this? It's actually something I had a massive brain burp recently about this. You have the Fool, which is nothingness, and then you have the Magus, which is a something. It's the first doing, and then you have the High Priestess, which is the first being, because if something is doing, then it is being. And then there is the third aspect, which is aware of doing and being, and that the two are in balance, and need to be in balance, the yin and the yang. And this is the Empress, and she is wisdom. She understands that the two, she is the yin and yang put together, and is able to observe that. Hence why the Moon is prominently placed on this card, for she is reflective, and she is Sophia, she is wisdom. And if we look at the Emperor card, he is the philosopher, because he is the lover of wisdom, the Philosophia, the philosopher. So I feel like you're going through a period of maybe deep introspection, deep reflection. And this isn't a passive reflection like, say, the Queen of Cups. This is a very, very deep soul level, pure conscious level introspection and reflection, which at the time of this reading is quite appropriate, because we are approaching the Aries partial eclipse. I was going to say full, partial eclipse of the Sun, which is happening on the 29th of March 2025. And again, if you're watching this in the future, just think about what's been going on for you since then. Okay, and what is the obstacle at the moment, the challenge? We have the 3 of Wands, fantastic card, another 3. And this is all those concepts we talked about in terms of energy. So when a thing comes into existence, we have one thing, then we have another thing. And why do we have another thing? Because if you have one thing, then there is the area around it. There's a thing and a no thing, so now you have 2 things. It's the paradox. There's no thing and a thing. But because you've done that, you've created 2 polarities. By creating 2 polarities, you created 2 things. Now you've created 2 things, there is a space in between them, and there's still the nothingness around them, and this is when we get 3. And the triangle is made. It's the mystery of the Trinity, essentially. And the 3 of Wands is virtue because it is that wisdom. It is embodying what is being and what is doing. We're not just talking the talk, we're not just walking the walk, we're doing both. Yeah. And I think here in the challenge position, I mean, we're going to look at all these cards when they're all put out in much more depth, but at the moment, I'm going to say that as a challenge, it's can you hold on to your own virtues at the moment, Gemini? What is it? What are your guiding principles in this life? Your motivations, the things that bring you virtue and you give virtue out. Okay. Now with the Celtic Cross, I always do it as something we know and something we don't know. So the first card is something we know, something we don't know is the obstacle. Now something else we know is what goes above, and this is in our consciousness. This is what we're thinking about at the moment. We have the Fool. And then we were talking about the Fool earlier, wasn't I? He is the no thing. He is us. He is consciousness that is not aware that it is, in fact, the entirety of reality. And he is, or it, should I say. It's not a he, it's an it. It's not even a hermaphrodite. It's beyond conception. Throws itself out. And this is the Hindu concept. And I say Hindu, it's found within most mystical traditions. In fact, if not all, this concept that your consciousness is no different from energy, it's no different from anything in existence, because it's the only thing that proves existence. And this is shown by the double slit experiment. I'm going to let you Google that because I don't have time to explain it today, but essentially it seems to prove in quantum physics that our awareness is key for reality's existence, which is a bit scary, I think, for most materialists, because it's this idea that perhaps we are living in some form of matrix. Obviously, I don't think it's a literal matrix. I don't think it's machines controlling us, but there is an aspect of this physical reality that is not as it seems, and that human beings only see what they need to see for their survival. And of course, if any of you have ever been in altered states of consciousness, you will know exactly what I mean. And the Fool is just the universe throwing itself out. So that's what you're doing at the moment, Gemini. You are really embodying what it means to be alive. And that is not necessarily enjoying yourself, but throwing yourself out there. No matter what comes. He is actually leaping in this card, the Fool. He's leaping forwards, feet first. Okay. Something else we don't know. And that is our unconscious, Gemini. What is driving these 3 things that we've already seen? We might not be fully aware of it. We might not be aware of it at all. And then we have the Queen of Cups that we talked about earlier. So this is some less in-depth introspection. And I think this is quite perfect, really, because we've had this surface level reflection in the background over the past years, months, weeks, even days, and for some of you, even hours. And then suddenly we've had this, it's got another level deeper. And I think it's got another level deeper because we've become aware of it, and that is the Fool jumping. Yeah, we've become aware of our reflection. The Fool has jumped, and now we have this wisdom. And the question that is being asked by ourselves to ourselves is: can I sustain this wisdom, and can I stay true to it? Yeah, you may not have found the truth with a capital T, but you have found a truth, and that truth is wisdom. Is being able to understand something as well as knowing it. Being able to experience something as well as looking at it or observing it. But at the same time, being able to observe it without necessarily having to get lost in the experience. I think had we not had the Queen of Cups here, it may just be getting lost in the experience. Fool is a 0 because he wants to be filled. The nothingness wants to be filled. It wants to forget who it is. This is the premise behind reincarnation, that consciousness chooses to put itself in a limited form, in other words, matter, in order to forget its experiences. And why does it do that? Because if you did the same thing every day, it would get boring. In fact, there is a very good lecture done by the late Alan Watts about dreaming, and it's not our dreams, but this higher concept that we see in the Vedas, and also a little bit within Buddhism, which inherited from the Vedas. This is this idea that the whole of reality is essentially the Godhead, energy, whatever you want to call it, source, universe. It's its dream. And we are the dreams. And that's why we're all one but different. Just as your dreams are part of you, that they are you, you're dreaming them. They're not aware of that unless you're lucid dreaming. And I suppose the mystical experience is perhaps the lucid dream. Okay. Went a bit deep there, but that's because we're going through some deep things here. We've got deep cards. Yeah, the Queen of Cups is looking over that lake. She's reflected in that. Now we're going to look at something else we do know, Gemini. We're going to look at your near past. And again, this when we look at timescales, this is entirely dependent on what your timescale is with the intuition that you're accessing now regarding the reading. What you think this is about will dictate how far in the past this near past is. If this story is decades in the making, then the near past could be years ago. If this is something that's unfolded in the past few weeks, this could be in the past few weeks, past few days even. Okay, near past, could be past seconds. We have the Lust card, also known as Strength in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, the more common tarot deck, renamed Lust by Aleister Crowley, for it is a lust for life. It is not base lust with a small l. This is capital L lust. And we see Babylon there, the energized divine feminine, riding the beast, the energized divine masculine, holding the cosmic egg there in her hand, and they are doing exactly what the Fool wanted them to do, which is throwing themselves out into life. It is the number 11 card, so essentially number 10 in the Major Arcana is the Wheel of Fortune, so the Fool has hit a point at which it can do anything now, and then it chooses to do everything. Okay, that's why it is lust, a lust to experience life. And I think in the near past, Gemini, something has triggered you to want to throw yourself in there. So we've got 3 Major Arcana already, which is quite good. If you get a majority of Major Arcana, by the way, in a reading, it suggests that perhaps your free will is not necessarily as in control as you think. But we'll see what the rest of the cards are. And again, these tend to be more underlying principles. The Major Arcana, the Minor Arcana, so that's the court cards and the number cards, you tend to be more aware of them, but they have less of an impact. Okay. Near future, and again, just like the past, this is timescale. Timescale is related to how you relate to this reading. And we have the Queen of Wands, another queen, and following the Virtue card as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So we've got some more fire energy there. So the Queen of Wands is very much a feminine energy that is bordering on the masculine. She's bordering on the masculine because she's doing herself. She's throwing herself out there, showing herself. She's showing up in the world and making people be aware of her, and that's the masculine aspect. But she's not depicted as a male in her card, because again, masculine and feminine is not the same as male and female. Male and female are these kind of imperfect echoes of masculinity and femininity. So we have both within us. But she is proud of her femininity, which is of course a bit of it's the masculine like within us saying, you know, I care about being, look at this being. Look at me being me, and don't you dare question it. And that don't you dare bit is the masculine bit. And you can see there she's holding a leopard. She's an incredibly confident woman, or should I say feminine aspect. And this suggests that in the near future, Gemini, you're really going to be owning who you are. And the beauty of the Queen of Wands is she takes pride to a point at which she knows when to stop. She's not quite as overproud as, say, the Knight or the Prince of Wands can get. It can be a vice for her. I believe Aleister Crowley used the quote that when she misses her bite, she breaks her jaw. So she's very, I don't know how to put it really, very sure of herself, but to the point where she might hurt herself. So that's something to be mindful of, Gemini. But we'll see at the end as to whether this is connected to the warning card. And the warning card is what I take from the bottom of the deck. And of course, if you have a prediction for what that could be, the shadow card as I also call it, do put it in the comments below. This card will summarise the whole reading and will suggest what we need to be on the lookout for and be wary of in the future regarding the whole reading. But we've only done the first part of the cross. We've got the second cross to come. Second cross is usually a column in other tarot readings, but the way I do it, it looks like another cross. And the interesting thing is that the near future will link the two columns together, or the two crosses together. Okay, we're going to look at the next card. The next card is going to be advice or self-image. Sometimes both are the same. So the way we see ourselves can actually be quite good advice as to how to lead forwards towards the final outcome. So what is in the advice position for you today, Gemini? We have another court card, the Prince of Discs. This is the first Earth card we've seen in the spread. The Prince of Discs is the heir of Earth and can be likened to a breath of life, the wind flowing through the trees. It's a very abundant card. It's associated with Taurus quite a bit. I believe he rules Taurus, at least part of Taurus. Hence the bull pulling his chariot. And what this is saying is that we're a very wholesome individual, perhaps. This is how we're seeing ourselves. Or alternatively, this is something we can be working towards. Someone who is quite grounded, but at the same time able to think with the air of Earth, thinking about the physical realm. And being very good at it as well. And this is why he's associated with Taurus, because Taurus is very good about thinking about the physical realm. A lot of Tauruses love food, a lot of Tauruses love beauty, they're ruled by Venus, they love gardening, they love nature. And it's really getting in touch with that inner Earth person within us. It's the only way to describe it. Not quite hippie, but almost there. Okay. And now we're going to look at the environment that's affecting all this, Gemini. What's going on around us? Who is going on around us? If it's a court card, perhaps. Ooh, we have the futility card, the Seven of Swords. So Seven of Swords is associated with, futility, obviously. We feel like things around us feel pointless, perhaps, or perhaps there has been some betrayal. That is also associated with backstabbing and secrets. We may have had some backstabbing and secrets in our distant past. I won't say near past because we've got that lust card. Or it may even be slight paranoia. I'm not going to say full paranoia or full self-criticism because that would be the 9 or the 10 of Swords. But there's certainly something you're unsure about in your environment. Is everything alright? Are these people my people? Did so-and-so say that about me? Are they saying things about me? It's overthinking. To put this into context, the Swords card before it is called the Six of Swords, which is science, and it's the perfect balance of thoughts. You're able to objectively study, observe, hypothesize, and bring up. Well, hypothesize comes first. Hypothesize, study, observe, take your notes, and say it as it is objectively in your conclusion. And the way I liken the Seven of Swords is a scientist who has done that. And then someone comes along and criticises their work, and suddenly it's become personal. They can't stay objective about it and say, okay, you're right, I made a mistake. Or I have an argument which I can have an argument that's not based on my pride for the experiment. I can actually prove that I did do it right. You're staying in the Six of Swords there. If you're arguing, and even against yourself or that person, because it's yours, and you don't want to back down, that's very much Seven of Swords energy. We've added another thought that doesn't have to be there. And if you look at the Suit of Swords, it continues to deteriorate. And that might even be, and again we're looking at the warning for the future here, and I'm going to make a sudden prediction. It may be the Prince of Swords, the warning card. We don't want to overthink things about our environment too much, because believe me, the 8, the 9, and the 10 of Swords are far more difficult than the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords is difficult. Okay. Let's see if we can bring it back to the 6 of Swords. And in fact, that might be the hope, which is what we're going to do next, Gemini. We're going to look at the hope on this side, and then the fear on this side. I do apologise for the lighting, by the way, on this video. It's been very, very difficult because it's very sunny where I am. And the problem is, if I open the curtains, it's so sunny that all this just becomes white. So I've had to close the curtains, and I can't put too much light on. Otherwise, again, it goes all white. So you're going to have to make do, unfortunately, with this. And again, the more likes I get, the more subscribes for this channel, the better the cameras I will get, because this is just a hobby at the moment. And I'm sort of fitting it around my work. Okay, let's have a look at the hope then, because I think we've been leaving it for quite a long time now. Okay, the hope. Oh, we have the Princess of Discs, also known as the Page of Pentacles in the other tarot decks, like the Rider-Waite deck. But of course, the Thoth deck is more egalitarian and has chosen to call the pages princesses. And this is the Earth of Earth. This is so grounded, you perhaps can't move. And I think this is hope in the future, that we can get away from our thoughts that are going on around us, all this drama going on around us. We've reflected upon what we really want. In the past, we've dived into this lust for life, and I think the Queen of Wands is really proving that we are going to be diving into the lust of life. You've got the Fool there in your consciousness, you definitely want to do it. You've had this time of reflection. But I think what the Princess of Discs is showing is that whilst you may come across as a Queen of Wands when you do this, it's not with the aim of burning fast and bright and fast, burning yourself out, putting yourself out there so much that you flag. You're putting yourself out there because you want to be grounded. You want a stable life. Perhaps you've had enough of the BS, essentially, or whatever's been going on around you, and I think there's a lot of BS going on around you, or has been going on around you. And I think we're here with the Prince of Discs, combined with the Princess of Discs. It's quite beautiful, really, because the advice is moving towards what we want. The Princess of Discs comes after the Prince of Discs, and in the little fable about the court cards, he will marry her, and they will become the Knight and the Queen of Discs. And the cycle continues. And indeed, she is holding the Ace of Discs, their new beginnings. She is nurturing it, and if you look very carefully at the card, she is indeed pregnant. And this is a suggestion, not maybe literal pregnancy, that might be for some of you. Some of you out there, some of you Geminis, may be literally hoping to become pregnant, but that's only going to be for a very small amount of you. And of course, you're male, maybe you're hoping for a child. But again, that's a very small percentage of you. But I think for most of you, it's a metaphor. We're pregnant with life, I think, at the moment. And with all that fire energy going on, we've got the Lust card, we've got the Three of Wands, we've got the Queen of Wands. And we've got, well, what happens when you put air on fire? The Fool is technically an air card, higher air. Not swords there, more pneuma, which is spirit. But we've got the Swords card there, and you blow air on fire, it goes up. Obviously, too much air, it goes out, but there's not a huge amount of air. It's just right for it to burn, but we don't want it to burn too much. We don't want to burn ourselves out. Waffling a bit here, sorry. We want to be grounded. I think I made my point now. Okay, we're going to look at the fears, though, now. Okay, and we have the Seven of Wands. This is Mars in Leo. And the fear here, really, well, it's called Valor. And the reason why it's called Valor, it's probably the most well aspected of the sevens, I must admit. It's another 7. I think we are afraid of having to fight for this, because that's essentially what the 7 of Wands is it's fighting for what we want. And I think here we've done enough, or at least we think we've done enough reflection. We've been through enough, essentially, and we just want to throw ourselves out there. We don't have to fight for it. We want things to be given to us on a, I don't want to say it, but like a silver platter. I'm not trying to say you're an egomaniac here. What I'm saying is that I think your ego has had enough of fighting and just wants to get through it. I just want this stability. Okay? But because the fear card kind of holds us back, so the way to think about these two cards is like a gateway. This helps propel us forward, this pulls us back. I think here is really asking us not to fear having to fight. And if we do need to fight, we need to be fighting the Seven of Swords, the paranoia, the suspicion, the uneasiness in our mind about our environment. Because I believe here you feel quite set in yourself, we see here, but the environment is not necessarily conducive to that. Okay. Now we're going to do the final outcome, Gemini. And isn't that absolutely beautiful? We have the Nine of Cups, also known as happiness. That is Jupiter in Pisces, the traditional ruler of Pisces. And it is happiness because we have expanded upon the dreams, the hopes, and the desires of Pisces. And by expanding upon them, we have brought them to fruition. 9 is the foundation of the tree of life, known as Yesod. It is an infinite number, an infinite emotion, whilst you may think not a good thing when it is pure. So it's in this stable state. Pure emotion, endless, is indeed happiness. And as a Cups card, I think we can really interpret this as, I'm going to tell a little story here. And it's going to involve the analogy of farming, and the reason being is because of these two cards. Now, it's almost like this cross here, as we've done a lot of reflection upon what we want to grow. We have discovered what we want to grow. Cosmic egg, the self, supported by the fact that the Fool is the cosmic egg. You've sown your seeds. This is very much the Fool jumping out. And we're making sure that they're done in fertile ground. We've done our research. We need to make sure we do it in balance as well. You don't want like a million seeds there and one seed there, because then all those plants are going to basically cannibalize one another. And that one seed there is very unlikely that it's going to grow. You need to scatter it evenly, maintaining the virtue of sowing in this analogy. And after that, you know that it's going to be a wonderful harvest this year. You're full of confidence. And the Prince of Discs is the one nurturing the crops, making sure there's not too much water, not too much wind, not the soil's just about right. But then there comes this storm. This is that futility card. And we are afraid that everything we have grown will be for naught. Yeah. So we do need to fight. And the fighting in this analogy is making sure that our crops are safe. So that might be putting tarpaulins on them or something like that in the analogy. We're grounding them, protecting them. This is very much what the Princess of Discs is doing. And here we have the bountiful harvest, the Nine of Cups. It is truly one of the best cards in the deck of the tarot, along with the Six of Cups. And we're overflowing with joy. This isn't just I'm feeling happy, this is joy. Okay? It is what we get out of the Lust card that we see here, which is quite wonderful that those are tied together. And I think it's also quite poignant as well, with the nodes shifting in astrology at the moment, at the time of this reading. The nodes have shifted out of Aries and Libra. So North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. They've moved to the very recently. The North Node is now in Pisces, and the South Node is now in Virgo. Now what's quite ironic is with these two Earth cards, we could say there's quite a bit of Virgo energy here. But Virgo is known for being quite clingy, can also be very perfectionist. Whereas Pisces is more flexible, put it that way. And there's a shadow side to that. They can be more flexible with the truth as well, Pisces. They are dreamers after all. But what is life without dreams? And I think Here we see the dream fulfilled, whatever that is for you at the moment, Gemini. We just have to remember to ground ourselves, and we need to fight the good fight, whatever that is for you. Whatever is causing you this Seven of Swords in your environment, and it could be yourself. It's very rarely yourself because it isn't the environment, but if you're finding you are on your own quite a bit, it's usually things in your environment that your mind is reacting to. Indeed, we can say that about everything. If this is not a literal backstabbing, if you cannot find evidence at all that anyone is, doing these really annoying things, then this is more our reaction to things in our environment. This could be that, just lost with an example there. The neighbours asked you not to do something for the 10th time, and then you just absolutely snap. It could be the routine that you're fed up of, because it's a routine, you can't get out of it, and it's not doing you any good. It's a mental reaction to our environment. Okay, it's fantastic, really, Gemini. With that happiness, it's not all roses and daisies, but we've got quite a lot of court cards, and indeed, if you do identify more with the feminine aspect, then perhaps this hope can be seen as actually yourself. This is an image that you want to endorse. In that case, I highly recommend meditating on the Princess of Discs, the Earth of Earth, as well as the Queen of Wands here, meditating on the Water of Fire, which sounds like a bit of a contradiction, but really here we're sort of talking about volcanic energy, that lava. Of course, if you identify more with the masculine aspect, we could be looking at embodying this air of earth quality, and of course we have both within us, so I think it is even wiser to reflect on both the masculine card we see here and the feminine cards we see here. And of course we've got the Queen of Cups, who is in the unconscious, which might need a little bit more digging to discover. The Water of Water, that's because it's in our unconscious. And it might be asking us to do a little bit more reflection before we throw ourselves out there. Okay. Indeed, I just thought the Seven of Swords could be that something in your environment is so annoying, it is preventing you from throwing yourself out there to become the Queen of Wands and establish yourself as the Princess of Discs. So what do I think the shadow card is now? I still hold on to that it might be the Prince of Swords. Overthinking, overanalyzing separates the body from the mind. And it could also be... could be the Eight of Swords. Don't let curveballs get in the way. And in terms of major arcana, it's quite a difficult one actually for major arcana. I think the Wheel of Fortune. And the reason why I say the Wheel of Fortune is because whilst you are throwing yourself out there like the Fool to become this Queen of Wands, the advice is to stay grounded. It's the air of earth, not the air of air, that we have here. Yeah. So I do think it might be saying, don't just leave things to chance, Gemini. You go out there, embrace life, but do it with subtlety, skill, and virtue. And of course, a grounded mind. So let's have a look what we're going to get for the shadow card. Of course, if you have any predictions, do put them in the comments below before I draw the card. Final warning. Okay. Oh, we have the Two of Discs. That's actually my minor arcana. The first decan of Capricorn, we have the Two of Discs, which is change. So The Two of Discs, funny enough, I am writing about this card as we speak. The Two of Discs asks us to change our material environment, change our material habits, change our material body, something materially based needs to change. It's not just change in, say, mindset, but our mindset about things, or things that affect our mindset. And in this sense, I think this reinforces the idea, perhaps Gemini, that this futility is not people in your environment that are backstabbing you, but rather reactions to things in your environment are what are preventing you from being able to progress towards this happiness. And perhaps you do feel like you're fighting all the time towards this happiness, when really you just want to be here as this content princess of discs, so you can happily move on towards the Nine of Cups. So what does it ask us to do? It asks, the Two of Discs asks us, of course, to change, but to do so, as I said earlier, with guile and subtlety and skill. There is a structure to it, and understanding that change is the only constant in our life. So let's let go of things that appear constant but are in fact fleeting. And if that sounds a bit kind of like, what the hell is he on about? Let's think about material possessions. So money goes up and down in value. One day we'll lose it because we'll die. It's, it might get stolen. It might. At the end of the day, it's actually worth technically nothing. It's our perception of it that it has worth. To a dog or a cat, it means absolutely nothing. But life means something to all of us. And we have to. What the Two of Discs really asks us to do is not to get stuck in these physical matters. And this really links to what I was saying earlier about the nodes changing. Virgo is very much associated with perfectionism and materiality. It is a nitpicker in its shadow aspect. Its light aspect is that it's great at doing admin, it's great at doing spreadsheets, it's great at getting stuff together, getting your you-know-what together. But it's about identifying what you need to get together. If you are focusing on something that is actually fine, then why are we focusing on it so much? And that's when the change comes in. We don't want to get stuck in this figure of 8, this Ouroboros, this infinity. This isn't the infinity of 9. The infinity of 9 is endless. It just keeps expanding out. The infinity of the Two of Discs, at least its negative aspect, is the same as the 8s in the tarot. And this is why I thought it might be the 8 of Swords. This is a closed infinity. So it just keeps going round. It's not expanding out endlessly, it's just constantly going round. So there's 2 types of infinity. If you didn't know that, there's a massive brainwave for you. And we don't want to get stuck in the endless, this stuck, closed, endless infinity. The closed circuit, we want to get out of it. And the only way we can do that is by changing. And I think this is speaking towards a card that's not here, but we can see echoes of it in that the Valor card will lead to the 9 of Wands, and of course you have the 9 of Cups here. So this is very much an emotionally charged situation rather than an energetically charged situation. But the same thing still stands, and that is that the reason why the 9 of Wands is called Strength is because it learns to bend before it breaks. It's not rigid, it's like a willow branch. It learns to bend with change. There's actually a very good song out there, gotten its name, but it's all about the willow tree and how it bends before it breaks. And that it accepts what change makes. And this is really what it's asking us to do at the moment, Gemini, is we really need to just accept change, because it is the only constant that will ever be. And of course our awareness of it, but the two are the same. Our awareness changes with change. Okay, and that has been your reading today, Gemini. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, or at least found something useful from it. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, please do put a like down there below. And if you really enjoy this content and want to see more, as well as tarot tutorial videos on different spreads, as well as the individual cards, please do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. So once again, thank you very much, Gemini. I wish you a very happy afternoon, morning, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. And may peace be with you all. I'll see you again next time. Bye.